Alrighty, so I have started the recording now. Welcome to the kind of third meeting here for DevilSec, guys. I'm going to be going over some resources and everything, but I want to kind of hustle through this PowerPoint because the real value is going to be getting your hands on the keyboard and getting to do this kind of open lab portion. So, going ahead and getting started, I have been getting a ton of messages from people saying that they want a little bit more direction on what exactly they can be doing on their own to be continuing to learn and grow. I've been responding with individual kind of roadmaps for each person, but I think that this is going to be something that everyone can benefit from. We're going to start getting more kind of oriented to hands on the keyboard in the following weeks. So I want to make sure that everybody is feeling pretty confident in their own abilities, kind of maneuver around Linux and everything like that. I'm going to be giving a roadmap that people can follow, and I have already provided the roadmap and resources into beginner start here, so you can go ahead and look into there. After I introduce the various resources, we're going to be splitting into two different groups. We're going to be splitting into the kind of beginner group, and those are going to be people that want to continue to brush up on their skills, and maybe they missed a meeting and want to not be falling behind, you know? But the advanced guys are going to be doing the more, obviously advanced and interactive labs through stuff like HackTheBox. But if you don't know where you really fall right now, I will go ahead and define that a little bit later. So I'm just going to jump straight into this. Like I said, I want to really get through this as fast as we can. So Try Hack Me is the first resource I'm going to recommend. It's super beginner friendly and provides an amazing starting point if you feel completely lost. It has labs that guide you through an intro to like Linux, Nmap, basic penetration testing, Metasploit, and there's a whole other bunch of labs. But these are kind of the initial ones I would recommend just for kind of getting your feet wet. The way that they actually structure their material really guides you through the entire process of getting started. The screenshot you're seeing here is the intro to Linux lab. It starts you off with kind of these sections you can follow through. It goes through the commands and explains it really well. And you can see a bit of the content here that it goes into the definitions of things that you need to know. It gives you screenshots. But most importantly, it's an interactive kind of environment where you can submit flags to answers to their questions and submit, and kind of grade yourself as you go to test your knowledge. So before I move on to the next resource, does anybody have any questions about Try Hack Me? I'll be talking a little bit more about it later on and showing what exactly we're going to be going through. But if there's no questions, I'll just keep on moving through.
I'll just have one question to ask.
Yeah.
We're supposed to download, we're supposed to get a virtual machine with Linux on it, right?
Yes, specifically Kali Linux.
Which distro again?
Kali Linux, yeah. There's also there's two different ways you can do it. I recommend going and downloading their virtual images, the .ova for VirtualBox, because you just double-click that to import it into VirtualBox, and it has everything pre-configured for you. You don't need to go through an install process. And it's a whole lot less intimidating, so I would recommend doing it that way.
If you want to put it on like a
download links or
so? Yeah, I think we have it linked in announcements.
Just Google Kali Linux, you'll find it. It's under.
If you want to like put it onto a flash drive or anything, Linux user groups got an install fest coming up next weekend.
Yeah,
oh yeah. As for hard drives, I don't think I really need to worry about that because I got like external hard drives, so I can just download it from there.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Anyone else?
If you're only doing the intro to Linux one, you don't need Kali Linux or Linux in general because you're just SSHing into a box. But for the more advanced stuff like HackTheBox and labs, yes, you will need Kali Linux. You don't need it, but it just helps because it has the pre-built tools that you can just get without having to download everything.
So it's extremely necessary to get it, right?
Yeah, eventually.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need it for
It depends what
SSHing
path
and
you're
beginner
doing.
stuff. But I would say
depends
just
what
get it. The faster you get it, the better off you'll be.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Alrighty. So HackTheBox is the next resource I'm going to be talking about. This is a kind of less beginner-friendly resource, but it can still be really amazing if you just kind of watch videos along with it. IPSec is an amazing resource for this. HackTheBox is a place for you to kind of practice and exploit a bunch of different machines ranging in difficulty through a competitive kind of gamified environment. There are machines on here that are considered to be active, which are the ones that you can't write walkthroughs on. And you can't submit or give hints really to anyone else because these are being scored on the kind of global leaderboard. There are, however, retired machines, and these are the stuff that you can write walkthroughs on, and that's exactly where Ipset comes in. He does videos on retired machines and explains the concepts really well, and more importantly, his kind of methodology and approach to hacking. It's how I got started, kind of when I got more intense with this. I definitely recommend. As a free user on HackTheBox, though, you only get access to the last 2 retired machines, but if you pay $13 a month, basically, you're going to be able to get access to all of those retired machines, but also you get kind of your own container or virtual kind of image to hack when you connect to your lab environment. There's free labs where everyone kind of connects to, and they can screw up the exploit. They might bring down the service you need to like hack, and it just causes problems. So if you can afford it and you're passionate about wanting to learn, I seriously recommend just investing in there. Here you can see a little bit of the interface for the machines. It provides a really nice filter for you to sort by difficulty, rating of the box, and operating systems. If you want to learn Windows better, for example, I personally really suck at Windows, so I might want to sort by that. But moving through, you have the leaderboard here, the Hall of Fame. We have the top 5, and for a while, I think we had some guys in the top 20. Is Matt in the call right now?
Yes.
Were you top 10, Matt?
Yeah, it was number 9.
Dude, that's insane. Super cool. But you can kind of see their metrics over time, and in general, it's a really cool feature. On top of the user leaderboard, we have the team rankings. And we do have a double-stack team that we try and keep pretty active. We also have brought on Arizona State University into the university rankings. For a while, we were number 2, and I think we got number 1 at some point and did a post on that. But as the semester kind of goes on, it becomes harder for us officers to invest time into this stuff through all our other responsibilities as well. So since we have so many people coming to the meetings now and everything, I hope we can kind of get a distributed workforce for this and kind of have that constant flow of points going and constant practice. So, I know I'm rushing, but are there any questions over HackTheBox?
Wait, so the HackTheBox still has like the paid subscription or so?
Yeah, it's called VIP, and it's $13 a month.
And
Does it-
how about Try Hack Me? Does that have a subscription as well?
It also does, yeah. And that's also, Try Hack Me has a paths thing you can take, because it is more of a training platform than HackTheBox is. HackTheBox is a place to test your skills, basically. And Try Hack Me is more so oriented on teaching you those things. So you might start as a complete beginner, you might come with a lot of experience, and there's different pathways you can take, but that is, again, only for that premium service on Try Hack Me.
Okay, got it.
Cool.
I recommend try Hack Me if you're new, because if you're completely new and you try to do Hack the Box, you're gonna be completely lost, and you'll be end up more confused and intimidated,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and then burnt out and quit.
Yeah, and we don't
What
want
if
that.
well, what if we have a Try Hack Me account already? Because I have one. I haven't. I'm still considered a beginner, so I want to continue on with it.
Mhm.
Would that matter? Because I have a subscription with them.
No, totally good to have your own account. We're going to actually have the beginner group today be focusing on Try Hack Me. I'm going to be talking with individuals about where their skills are at and kind of directing them in certain directions to help them get to the more intermediate and advanced group as fast as we can.
Right.
But I'll talk more about that when those slides come up.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. So, next resource that I kind of swear by is the Portswigger Web Security Academy. This is like the Bible for web security labs and learning. These are the guys that actually developed Burp Suite, so if you're familiar with that. They also wrote the Web Application Hackers Handbook 2 and also 1, but that was before they were known as Portswigger. That was when they were like MDHnet or something. I don't remember. So the Web Application Hackers Handbook is one of the few textbooks I actually recommend for overall learning. It's a pretty cool resource just to have. And if you like having a shelf full of cybersecurity books like I do, that's a great addition. Here you can see a little bit of the categories of vulnerabilities that you can learn about. There are a few more categories, but the great thing about these is that the curriculum itself is divided into a reading learning portion and then a lab that directly correlates. When we start going over web security in the club, this is going to be pretty much the exclusive resource I'm going to be using on top of our own labs. Like for SQL here, you can see that it's reading, the reading is all related to this lab. And you're going to use the skills that you read in here to pass that exact lab. So it's definitely cool stuff. Here you can see a little bit of the interface. And what I love about this is that when you do go ahead and get stuck, you're not completely out of luck like a lot of testing kind of platforms out there like HackTheBox, for example. I recommend while you do these labs, you should absolutely try your best, of course. But if you feel stuck and you kind of been banging your head against this for more than 30 minutes, it may be time just to go ahead and pop open the solution and complete the lab. You want to make sure you're constantly kind of progressing through these and not stagnating, getting burnt out, getting angry and quitting. Make sure you're continually learning, even if it is kind of the lame way out, if you will. So here is an example of the web cache poisoning. It has a super nice layout. This is kind of representative of the overall high quality labs that they give us. It's not just a kind of one-page static application. They make it kind of fun to go through, and it's more like a real assessment. You have to find the vulnerability, even if you know what you're looking for. You have to go through it. It looks high quality, and it's really great. But the thing that I like the most about these labs is that it tracks your progress. I personally love having metrics for stuff like this because it gives you direct insight into how much you kind of know. I can say with a pretty high degree of certainty that if you go ahead and complete every single one of these labs and take them seriously, you're going to know a ton about web security. Though it's still going to be something that you need to make sure you are doing other labs outside of this so you can kind of grade yourself to see where you're at. This is a good way to discover the web vulnerabilities that are out there, but make sure you are kind of tracking yourself in other ways as well. One such platform for that is like the OWASP Juice Shop, which is a great resource, but I don't want to get too in the weeds with that. So, does anyone have any questions on the Web Security Academy before we move on to dividing up? Nope. Cool. So this is the kind of roadmap that I came up with, and I want to preface this with you don't have to follow this. This is general, like I said. I'm going to be working with the beginners today to develop a sort of guide for them on a more individual basis because everybody has a different background and learns in a different way. So instead of just reading this slide off to you, I actually want to open this up and show you a little bit about them. So here is Try Hack Me. This is the beginner's resource. This is where you want to go ahead and start. The hacktivities are all the rooms that you can go and start with. I recommend starting with OpenVPN. You can start with a welcome lab, but it doesn't really guide you through installing that VPN there. So this is going to directly guide you through how to download everything, how to get it installed, how to execute it, and then verifying that you're connected and ready to rock and roll. The next thing I'm going to recommend after that is starting to get your hands kind of dirty with Linux here. It has a bunch of different categories that are going to help you throughout your learning process. As long as you know how to navigate around the operating system using stuff like CD, ls, some file operations like cat, you're going to be in a pretty good place to start getting deeper into the practice of hacking and everything, because the rest of this stuff is going to come pretty naturally. The more you start learning how to Google, the more you're going to be able to just kind of dig deeper into this stuff. After Linux, there is a Vulnversity. And this is going to be teaching about that active recon, web app attacks, and Privesk. It's guiding you through what exactly you're going to be using to enumerate the system, So if last week was a little bit harsh on you and you kind of felt lost, this is going to be where you're able to come back and get your hands on the keyboard and get more familiar with Nmap. It also goes into GoBuster and kind of test your knowledge and helps you find everything that you need. So after this point, what I recommend doing is starting to find places for you to apply your skills at. Here is HackTheBox. This is the starting point. There is an invite challenge for HackTheBox that you do have to quote hack to register an account. There are a ton of YouTube tutorials out there though for solutions, so if you want to follow through that, totally fine. But this is going to also give you a little bit of background on how to complete their kind of labs. You have the software installation, connecting to the network, and then the phases of hacking essentially. And this is going to be true through the entirety of HackTheBox. So here are some of the machines. These are the active machines that I was talking about. These are actively being scored for points. You can go ahead and filter by the ones you want and kind of do stuff like sort by difficulty. So right now I'm sorting by the easiest ones. The spread really is hard to go by, but I also don't think it's bad to just try all of these because that's how you're going to learn. But after you've poked around a little bit with these, you can go to the retired machines and start looking for things that look interesting. If you sort by the difficulty for these guys, you're going to find the easiest of the easy, which is this guy. But if you don't really know how to approach any of these machines because you don't know like what the phases of hacking are, you don't know how to have your own, like you don't have your own methodology, this is where IPSEC comes in. He does walkthroughs over retired machines, like I was saying, and really digs into the weeds about what he's doing. He talks it loud and tells you his process, and if you kind of feel lost, somebody last week was asking me about the hacking methodology. Watch his videos. Amazing, amazing stuff. There are other resources out there, of course, but this is what I would recommend just for starting out. This might take you a couple of days even, but it just comes down to how fast and how much you want to learn. So before I go on to the next slide here, does anyone have any questions covering HackTheBox or their roadmap or anything?
Good question. So what do you think about over-the-wire bandit, like for Linux?
So that's what we used to recommend. The reason I don't now is because TryHackMe is a lot more guided. I would say that doing over-the-wire or bandit is good for practicing your skills further after TryHackMe, because it is kind of that war game try harder mentality. If you don't know what to do, then Google what to do rather than guiding you through the process.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Can you share the presentation?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it after I stop recording. Okay. So now we're going to get into the divide. Basically, the skills that are going to be required for the intermediate and advanced group is first off knowing how to enumerate and host enumerate a host and move around your Linux operating system. The advanced group is going to be breaking off, like I said, into a different voice chat and start hacking machines on HackTheBox and getting set up on HackTheBox. So if you want to help us start getting some rep back for DevilSec and raising our score for ASU on there, that'd be great. You guys can decide what box you want to do and collaborate on. Sharing notes through active stuff within the team is totally allowed, and I recommend it because something that's hard to learn on your own is, of course, working with other people when you're doing labs on your own. When you're going into security consulting or whatever field you want to, you're going to have to be sharing your notes constantly with other consultants, your managers, kind of giving status updates, letting them know the status of the project. So going ahead and learning how to communicate through stuff like this right now is really, really, really valuable. For the beginners, though, I would define a beginner as someone who either wants more guidance or clarification on things that we've learned so far. Maybe you missed a meeting and you feel pretty lost. I've been working with people here to give those individual roadmaps out, but I want to help you guys figure out what you need to learn and get set up with. So if you guys are doing stuff on your own, that's great, but if you want to get the most value out of it, I recommend collaborating with other beginners. If you don't really know where to go next, or like say you feel comfortable with Linux, but you don't know what Nmap is, that's great. I can totally like point you in a direction for that. So start thinking about if you want to go do HackTheBox with some of the other officers or hang out with me in here and brush up on your skills, kind of get that individual roadmap for how to get to the point where you are ready to break off to that advanced group. So before we actually split up, I'm going to do a little bit of a rant here. We founded DevilSec so that we could provide you guys with the skills you need for success after college, but that's kind of a byproduct of how we go about DevilSec. We're a club, but more than that, we are a community at this point. You can do all these labs on your own, struggle through them, but you're only getting a portion of the value out of them then. We have officers here that are really committed, like honestly committed to helping you guys learn as much as you can and answer any of your questions. But you should also start getting to know your peer group and start networking with them, because that is the most valuable thing that you can do in this industry. Cybersecurity is so small and so tight-knit, like seriously. Everybody knows everybody. But also something you should do is just kind of get started with hacking with other people here. Not necessarily a event that we host or something, but just pop a question down in general, see if somebody else wants to do a Hack the Box or some other labs with you. That's super great stuff to see for us. Having somebody else hack with you makes it more fun, for one, and it also is going to help you learn more because everybody has a different background. They might be able to fill you in on some gaps that you have for your own knowledge, and that's super valuable right there. But with the kind of sanctified events here, some of the officers are going to be trying to find time throughout their week and weekend to do Hack the Boxes with people. These are going to be pretty spontaneous, and these aren't necessarily going to be walkthroughs, but these are going to be kind of collaborative events that everyone involved is learning from. And that's including the officers. I want to make sure you guys are learning as much as you can as well. So please don't be scared.
I would like to
Go ahead.
emphasize the importance of networking. So a lot of times, like when I reach out to people, maybe like for job interviews and stuff like that, and if you have something in common, like if I mention, hey, I was in CCDC for these many years, and they're like, yeah, I was also in this region of CCDC. So with that kind of networking, you are ahead of everybody else to begin with.
Exactly, yeah. It's literally word of mouth. Like, going into job interviews, you can give recommendations, people can refer you to that job if they already have a job there. It's only a matter of reaching out to their HR department and going, hey, I know this cool guy, do we have an opening? And they say, yeah. Super valuable. The human network more than the network. But please, guys, don't be scared to kind of reach out to us and ask questions. We founded this place so that we can have a group of friends to hack with, but also so that everyone can be learning as much as they can and getting that quality, valuable industry experience stuff. So,
Yeah.
if anyone else has anything to add to that.
Yeah, if you guys are new, I don't know if you noticed, like, we're a pretty casual group. Like, we got a memes channel with ridiculous memes, but the big thing, too, is, like, that shocked me. It made me realize how small the community was. We were at Cactus Con, and literally, like, 5 people I didn't know just approached Alan. It was insane. Like, if you ever hung out with your friends and, like, just walk around a concert or event, and then, like, random people are just approaching him, it's like, hey, what's up, man? It is a tiny community, and I hope you guys feel proud that you're trying to get into it.
It's a lot of fun. Like, honestly, working in this industry is, of course, it's work, but you're doing fun stuff. The environment and culture is great. Everyone's super, super nice. But yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the open labs portion of this meeting. So if you are a beginner, go ahead and just stay in this voice chat. But if you want to go practice your skills and get set up with Hack the Box and stuff, go ahead and head into the intermediate/advanced voice chat right below this one. and I will give people a little bit to do that.
The source, but it
I
was
just
a
have
guy.
something that I'm really concerned about. It's the when I try to hack me and try to copy like the IP into like my Firefox, it just says that there's like rejected a connection or so.
Yeah, so that's going to be probably because you haven't connected to the VPN. I'll talk a little bit more about that once everyone splits up. I'm waiting until 4:45 here, and then I'll get started with the beginner group stuff.
Okay.
Alan, a quick question here.
Yep.
I've done try hack me for a while. I've done the research, done the learn Linux, most of the Linux challenges. Not so much in the vulnerability. What would you recommend? Should I continue with try hack me, or should I go with the intermediate? I'm debating.
Do you know how to kind of use Nmap a little bit?
I know the basics of Nmap from the last lab.
Okay, so I would say you're probably in a pretty good place. If you don't want to be doing as guided stuff and just kind of get into the nitty-gritty of everything, go ahead and just pop down to the voice chat below us and start harassing some of the officers in there to and just follow along with what they're talking about, because that's going to be probably more valuable to you in the long run if you already know Nmap and kind of basic web app stuff. Super basic web app stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Does the try hack me teach how to reverse shell?
Yes.
Yes, it
actually,
does.
Vulnerversity is actually a reverse shell challenge. So I was gonna add on like that Vulnerversity is actually like awesome because it literally ties up our last 2 meetings. Like the last meeting you learn enumeration, and then if you got further enough to get the reverse shell, or if you didn't, Vulnerversity is brilliant because it actually goes into making you get a reverse shell. And we might have to make another voice chat because there's way too many people like in these.
Yeah, I might have us separate out in the 2 groups here. But yeah, the reason I made the roadmap the way I did is because it covers our bases for what we've gone so far. Like, if you feel lost and didn't really know what we were talking about in our meetings before, do the first 4 of that roadmap, and you will be in a great place. So now that everyone has kind of gone split up, I might split us up more into 2 voice chats just so we have 2 people able to speak at once. I'm at your disposal here, I guess. I'll answer any questions you guys have, but this time is for you to develop your skills. If you don't know where to start, look at the roadmap in Beginners Start Here. If you're confident in your Linux ability to move around a little bit, ls and cd, then you can probably just do Vulnerversity. And if you already know how to do a reverse shell, and you know how what GoBuster is and what Nmap is and what that port readout means, might want to just go do HackTheBox. So I'll be here if you guys get stuck in any portions of the lab, or if you run into any technical issues. I'll go ahead and help you guys troubleshoot those. So I recommend right now everyone just going ahead and starting off with creating a TryHackMe account.
Alan, I have a good question. So, like, I have a TryHackMe account. I downloaded OpenVPN onto my Windows platform, but I wanted to use my Kali terminal, and I tried it, so I couldn't figure out how I would use the OpenVPN and the Kali terminal.
So it depends on how you have your network set up within Kali. So I have my network set to NAT, and I believe that's going to work. I'm not going to get into details with the networking aspect of things, but as long as your host machine is VPN'd, it's going to have your virtual machine reach out to your host operating system to get to know where it needs to go, basically.
Okay, let's do that.
So yeah, add NAT. It could also be bridged, but if you want to install it actually on Linux, all you have to do is apt install apt-get install OpenVPN, and then run it with the config file that you have to download. I don't know where we download it. Access machines. There we go.
Quick question. What's the difference between apt and apt-get?
App is newer.
Yeah.
Apt-get is the older one.
That's all.
That's it?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, apt will have a prettier UI, but you can pretty much just use apt or apt-get.
Yeah. You have to do like to search for repo or things in there. You used to have to do apt-get like cache search or something, and now it's just apt search and then the thing you're looking for, and it's nicer. Does anyone have any troubles getting set up with TryHackMe or anything?
I just have a question
Yeah.
in general. So there shouldn't be any problems with doing the same things. Like in Windows, I was using PowerShell, and but if I just go on Linux and do everything that I was doing on Windows, it'll just work just as fine.
Yeah, so with SSH and everything, it's going to be the exact same syntax, and PowerShell has a lot of the same aliases. So let me open up PowerShell here. Cool thing with PowerShell is that, like, the way that you used to have to list out the contents of your current folders with dir, but they have aliases within PowerShell to be more Linux-like, and it's pretty nifty, actually. 'Cause I don't know if they have cat. They do have cat, so yeah, they're getting more and more expansive with it.
Yeah, just keep in mind a lot of the commands are basically symlink to normal PowerShell commands. So like cat is symlink to type. Oh.
I forgot how you list aliases. Do they have grep? Let's see. No, I think it's like
PowerShell has
Feinster.
grep?
No, it doesn't.
Nah, sadly. Yes, the ls is just get child item, and instead of typing that whole thing out, you can just type ls.
Yeah, I am having some trouble installing Kali. I can use OpenVPN on my terminal because I'm using a Mac, but I can't. I'm trying to install OpenVPN on my Kali. I did the apt-get part. I'm just trying to locate it.
Okay, so something I'm going to recommend is that if you have a fresh install of Kali, you are going to have to do an apt-get update. When you first install it, you will have... yeah, let's close that.
Oh, I should probably do that too.
So, you're going to have to do an apt-get update. This is going to reach out to the web server that basically holds the repository for all the programs that you're pulling from with apt. If you don't do that before, you're going to have basically 0 entries into it, and it's not going to be able to find anything. So after you do that, you should be able to do apt-get install OpenVPN. And cool. Just like that, and it's installed. You could also do apt install OpenVPN. Both have it, stay hard.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Once we have a TryHackMe, is there anything else we need to at the moment? So right now, it depends on where you are at. If you feel like you have a solid grasp on Linux, then you don't necessarily need to do it. But the way I recommend going through TryHackMe right now, once you have your account, is doing the OpenVPN lab. This is going to tell you how to install the VPN so you can get connected to their network. Once you do that, you can learn how to navigate around your operating system in Linux a little bit, which is going to be super valuable and pretty much imperative, actually, because if you can't move around an operating system, how are you going to be able to spot misconfigurations and stuff like that? So it might be worth some time. Just go through this stuff. If you don't know what these operators do, that might be something you want to do.
When I did apt-get update, it just said permission denied.
So
You gotta do sudo.
Sudo, yeah.
The new Kali, you're also not root either, so.
I recommend doing sudo su and just switching to the root user. This is a virtual machine. It's not best practice, but you're not going to have any problem with it.
I mean, you're already root, so.
Yeah. That's because I sudo su.
Also, if it's sudo su, shouldn't it be sudo?
Super user do, I guess. What were you saying though?
Does this club have a room, as in like a room code for TryHackMe?
Oh, no, we don't have anything like that for this. This is all kind of individual stuff.
Okay.
But the way you get to the rooms and everything is just through this HackTivities page here, and this is going to drop down everything you need to, all the content that you can do.
I recommend Vulnversity.
Yeah.
It builds off the meeting
absolutely.
from last week. So if you guys couldn't figure out the bonus flag, it was a reverse shell, which Vulnversity actually covers how to do. Super cool.
Yeah. There's also like basic pen testing, intro to researching, Metasploit. Metasploit's a great tool for, it's an exploitation framework, but there's a whole lot more features to it than that.
So, Alan, in theory, I can go on a YouTube video and just follow the tutorial and read this, and I'll be fine. I don't have to come to the meeting.
Yeah, but then you
yeah.
won't learn anything if you just follow walkthroughs, to be honest. Like, the point of these boxes is to actually give you a headache and force you to research. Like,
Yeah.
because later on when you do security consulting, you're not gonna have the answers anymore. Like, what are you gonna tell when you do a pen test, like your boss, like, oh, I couldn't find the answer to like the pen test? Like, that's your job. Like, that's why we pay you.
Yeah.
No, I'm for learning, not the.
Yeah, I mean, doing the walkthroughs is cool, and it definitely can teach concepts and methodology, but I recommend that if you are going to watch videos, you also follow along. So say you're watching an IPP or IPsec video, let's just sort by his most popular one. Really, that's his most popular? Like, actually go ahead and start the machine with him, follow along with what he's doing. He talks and like walks through what he's doing, so you should get that full understanding, and it's really, really valuable stuff.
Okay.
And that was just him connecting to the VPN for the network and everything. And, oh man, I remember doing this. 2017. I shouldn't close that. Yeah, if anyone has any questions right now is the time to yeet them out there.
I got root at Cali, home/Cali after I put sudo last year.
Go ahead, just go live.
Yeah.
Go live.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah, what's
up, Daniel?
So I wanted to know, so basically like this beginner start here thing, do I just have to follow this list and basically like go through try hack me and learn by myself everything? Is that it?
You don't have to. But if you don't know where to start, it's a great start. We do cover, we have covered everything that Try Hack Me There has covered already. But if you want to brush up on sort of stuff like that, then I recommend it. I gotta share this presentation before I forget again, though.
Okay, for sure, yeah. Because I was looking at this like roadmap that I think you posted or something, and so I was just following that if I'm lost. Because I'm like completely lost. Like I have no idea what to do, where to start. Or anything.
Do you know Linux? Do you know how to like navigate through a terminal?
I do not.
Then yeah, start out with the Try Hack Me Linux basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like, let's think about like, if you want to hack a computer, the first thing you need to know is how do I talk to a computer, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that's the thing with cybersecurity. It's you literally learn by hitting a brick wall on every step you go. So I don't know, the thing I like to keep using as a reference is like, if you want to hack a security camera, like what's the first thing you gotta do? Well, I gotta figure out how to talk to it. So like you try plugging it in, you try going on the same network as it, like, and like those different obstacles that you keep hitting that like is in your way, you doing research and googling the crap out of it is like exactly how you learn. And then the shitty and cool thing about cybersecurity is like you learn all this random crap, and like all this past experience kind of helps you with stuff later on. It's hard to explain, but this is why we teach it the way it is. It's not like calculus where you learn like limits and then derivatives, and then like it's not like a chain. It's like you acquire all this knowledge prior, like while learning just random stuff, and then it kind of comes back randomly.
Yeah, it'll hit you when you least expect it, but you kind of build this mental database of all this info. And you start trying to correlate everything with everything else. Because a lot of the time when you're doing a black box engagement, you don't have source code. You can't have visibility of how the data is moving through the network. You don't know how the program's going to interpret some random query you put into it. So you have to make these weird hypotheses about everything and make these predictions that might not be valid, but if you have enough experience, it's likely that it might be like XYZ, for example. And can pop it through that way.
For sure. Now, do I have to like download Linux, or where do I go to do that?
Yeah, so I have I'll go ahead and drop a link to it. Copy. Message link. There we go.
I hear someone breaking up calling me.
No, it's me. Can you hear me now?
It's very light.
Also, if you're completely new to Linux, I believe the Linux User Group is doing a Intro to Linux tutorial lab kind of thing this weekend.
Yep, on Saturday. Check them out.
Definitely check them out. They're a good group.
Okay, it says when I
Can
tried
someone
to
link
try
the
hack
group
me,
over this?
Sure.
Where's Ethan? Ethan!
Thank you.
Oh, he gone.
Yeah, he's done
I'm
that.
having trouble installing OpenVPN on Linux. I have it on Windows, but just on Linux, I did the sudo apt-get install, but I can't find it anywhere.
It's OPVPN.
It says command not found.
Just go live. Go live, and then I can hop in and help you. That's the beauty of this, guys. Is if you have issues, go live and tell us your issue.
All right, I'm watching your screen now, by the way. So you're still having problems. Okay. So what's going on with your stuff right now?
Talking to me?
That's what I'm talking to. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I did the sudo su to change my authority, I guess. What do I need to do anything else?
Oh no, so now you're just the kind of admin on the system essentially. So you can go ahead and do apt-get update without needing to precede it with sudo.
Okay.
And now you can do apt-get install OpenVPN, and you should be good to go there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I was having the same issue with downloading the OpenVPN thing, but I think you just have to go from the web browser inside the virtual box and download it there.
For OpenVPN, you can.
You should be able to just apt-get or apt-install.
Well, to do the I don't know. I did the apt-get and then it didn't. I don't know. Because it needs your file name .ovpn.
Oh yeah, so for.
Oh no, you already have it installed.
So that means it's installed. Yeah, you need to download the config file now from the website. This is why I recommend going through the guided try hack me process. Where is it?
Well, so it tells you that you have to download it, but it doesn't tell you have to download it like on the virtual box and not just in your.
No, you do. It needs to be on the virtual box because that's the operating system you're trying to use.
So here, we're going to download OpenVPN and get it onto your Linux system. But then you need to get your VPN configuration file, which you can get from the access page, which you can click that link there, or click OpenVPN here. And I believe you can say connect or download my configuration file. And I am not in Europe there. So you can click download. Uh-oh, this page has been lost. That's cool. What?
Why would I delete my tmux file? That was a dumb mistake.
So this is going to go ahead and download mrsquawky.ovpn. I want to see if I can just copy this download link and download it within my VM.
Okay, I'm stuck again.
Hop in the temp. So scroll down to the temp and then go live and I'll help you out.
Oh, I am live.
Oh, he's in a different voice chat.
I created a new voice chat. So just scroll down and there's a temp one under everyone else.
Cool.
I have a question real quick. So it's a really basic question, but I have no idea so is Linux say like IDE, right? Kind of like Java or something like that?
So Linux is.
How does it work?
So you're asking what is Linux?
Yeah, what is Linux and what is like VirtualBox and like.
All right, sick. Yeah. So Linux is just a standard operating system. It's like Windows or kind of like Mac OS. Technically, the Mac operating system is called Unix. And this is Linux, which is made by Linus whatever. Thank you. Yeah.
I almost said Tech Tips.
Linus Tech Tips.
Store.com.
But yeah, so this is just kind of standard operating system. So I can show you some similarities between them real quick. So the way that Windows does everything, you can right-click a file, or right-click, go to new. So here I have a empty folder. You can go into here, make a folder, call it whatever. You can go into and what it's cool. But the step below that is going to be the command line interface, which is a more direct interface between your computer and kind of the direct operating system. So if I just go ahead and cd, which means change directory, I can go into that. I can do an ls, and it's going to list out the stuff inside of here. I see I have a directory in there, which I created. I can cd into that. I can make a directory called something. And if I open it now, it does the same thing as just right-clicking a new folder.
Oh, so it's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so this is the Windows command line. You see, it just is this is Windows, you know?
Yeah.
The Linux, you can do the same thing. This is kind of the Linux's version for this file explorer. There are different types, but it's the same thing. It's just the file structure is slightly different. So generally with Windows, you know how you start your C drive. This is starting at /. So if I just cd /, this is called the root of the file system. It is the very beginning. It is C:/, basically.
Okay.
And inside of here, you have a few important directories, which I don't know if the Linux stuff goes over, the try-hack-me. You have your home directories, which is where all of your users, other than your administrator user, basically, lives. So you're going to see myself and my Kali user in here, and I can go into Kali, see what stuff is going on in there. This is the equivalent of going into the C drive, users, and then going into here. This is just at C:/users. If I were to print out my current directory, I'm at /home/Kali.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
it's just another operating system. It has different commands, and it's free. You don't need licensing, and it comes pre-installed with a bunch of tools. So if you click up here, actually, you can see all the hacking tools. And something that I like to do when I was learning was just click on one of these, open something, and figure out what the hell it did.
That's so cool. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then like, what is VirtualBox? Is that just a like?
So VirtualBox is virtualization software, which just means that you have some type of file. And I might be getting too in the weeds with this, but hey, that's what I do best. We're going to show this in Explorer. So this is my virtual machine. Basically, a virtual machine is just the entire operating system. So I can put Windows into a virtual machine as well, and say I have a Windows host operating system that I use for gaming and everything, but I also have another Windows thing for like labs. You can put the inception of operating system with an operating system, essentially. That's all it does. It's emulating or virtualizing an operating system. And the way it works is...
So does it still get stored on your like device and everything? Or like?
Yeah, as a file, though.
I just wanted to interject. Besides just emulating an operating system, it is emulating a whole computer, and you can configure the specs that you want it to have by giving it a certain amount of like CPU cores, a certain amount of RAM, hard drive space. It's a little computer running on your computer as a piece of software.
Oh.
And then you can put Linux on that, so it's like you have your computer in your computer.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's nice because you can take snapshots. If you change any files with it, you can revert them, you can duplicate them, so you can just keep cloning multiple computers inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Or if you like accidentally, delete the production database and you need to be like, oh shit, we need that data back, you can revert to a snapshot. And
that's so cool.
It's like revision control for your entire computer, for the operating system individually there. But I think this is really cool. The .vdi file here is the actual hard drive, if you will, the file, or hard drive as a file, basically. All of my files and stuff are kept within this .vdi. And this VBox is just kind of the wrapper to tell the operating system, for like Windows operating system, to say, hey, we're starting up a virtualized computer here, give us the resources and get that going for us. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's hella cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Where did I put it?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
So I'm trying to open the configuration file on my Kali VirtualBox, and I need the path to it. It's downloads and then like the file. But do I need to put like root then downloads, then the file.
So are you
or-
in the current directory with that file right now? If you don't know.
No, I already CD'd into the directory.
Oh,
So do I
perfect.
just put the file name?
So
then?
you can do it that way, yeah. So that's the difference between a relative path and a fully qualified path or an absolute path. If you were to do an absolute path, you will start at the very beginning of the operating system. Like if I were to say C:/users here, that's the full path getting to here. But I could also just like be in here and click snapshots. I don't have to copy this name or anything, put it into my bar, and then do it to get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was already CD'd into it. That's why I wasn't working
Cool,
when I
yeah.
tried to down.
Gotcha,
do the
gotcha.
full path. Thanks.
Yeah.
A nice thing too, this is kind of an extension. There are basically tools that you can install. They're the quote-unquote guest editions. It exists for, so there's VirtualBox, which is like the OS emulator, well, computer emulator. VMware is another tool, but you can also put in tools that allow you to copy text between both operating systems and drag files back and forth between them.
No way, that's dope.
It's pretty sweet. So it's like you can have Linux running, you can even run virtualized Mac OS if you wanted, Windows, a few different versions, and then you can switch between them as if they're all just panes in a desktop.
Mm-hmm. You can do like Control F here, and I can full screen it, and then well, that looks completely broken. I also can't type, and I also can't exit full screen now, so...
Try right Control F.
It's not responding.
Oh.
There we go.
Alt escape.
Dude, you just saved me. I was stuck in that. And I couldn't unmute myself to ask how to do it.
Right Control is the host key. If it ever captures your mouse, try pressing that, and then like F should get it out of full screen.
I had it as full screen and literally got stuck.
It is kind of cool though, because if you have multiple monitors, you can do it full screen, and then it just looks like this monitor is one thing, and then this monitor is another. So you got a penguin over here, you got a Bill Gates over there. It's my boy Billy G.
Oh my god, I should 3D print the Linux penguin. What's his name?
Tux. His name's
Tux. Thank you. Yeah.
Bill Gates dressed like a
Are
penguin.
you a real Linux user? You don't even know his name is Tux.
I know.
Bruh.
That was a trivia
I bet
question
you don't
too. I
even
got
know what
extra credit
Temple
on.
OS is.
Back in the day.
Oh god, we don't need
Terry-
Temple OS again.
Terry Davis, we love you.
The almighty one.
So do you think as long as I follow this like try hack me thing and everything, I should be pretty good.
So that's going to get you up to the point where you can get into the advanced users stuff, but it's really just a point of getting you started. It's introducing resources to help you find other resources, because you're going to dig into stuff like IPsec or IPsec videos, and I like to have multiple monitors just so I can toss things on in the background. Where is it? Here. So here's IPsec. I'll click a random video, and all the recommended videos are going to be either some like security related thing you can keep digging, and then you can be like, oh, a day, night in the life of a network operations center engineer. Well, maybe I want to do that. And you keep digging deeper and getting more resources. Highly recommend going through stuff like that.
Hey, Alan, just so I got the Try Hack Me set up on my Kali now, and I'm about to go through the vulnerability. I have a friend in here too that I probably just want to work with together on. Is there anything else that we have to do today, or is it done with Double Sec today? Are we done with Double Sec today?
This is open lab. You guys learn and do your Googling. If you guys have questions, feel free to DM me, reach out to me. Always happy to help.
Okay. All right. And we'll probably be in our own voice chat room to work on this together.
Cool.
If that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, you guys have fun. Happy hacking.